So, first question, Jamie. UK, very different to the US. How would you characterise the state of addressable advanced advertising here in the UK today? Where are we at, if you had to really boil it down?
So I think when I think about the UK market, the first word that springs to mind is buoyant. When I think about revenue, I think over the last few years we've seen successive years of revenue growth. I think it's buoyant in terms of ad tech as well, whether it be ad tech developments or innovation at ITV or Channel 4 or indeed Sky. I think the products and propositions have moved on no end over the last few years. I think in terms of where we are in terms of advanced advertising, I think we're still, like most territories, in the very early stages. Addressable TV at Sky AdSmart, with Sky AdSmart, has been in the market 2.5 years or so, and I think we're really in that very early stages of growth. But I think what is absolutely clear to me is that the advertisers and the agencies are asking and clamouring for more, and the speed of development is not, or can't keep up with the appetite from the market.
Would it be fair to say that developments to date have been uneven? That we have 3 big sales houses who all have quite different distinctive strategies, and when you look at the way they're dealing with addressable advertising or advanced advertising capabilities, they're not all pushing the same buttons, are they? They're doing quite different things.
Yeah, I think let's be fair. That is because we each have different properties and platforms that we can utilise. We are a pay TV platform. We're very lucky in that we have customers and not just viewers. And it's not just luck that we're not just pleased because they pay us a monthly subscription every month, which is very nice, but also because of that monthly relationship and dynamic. That means that we have an ongoing relationship where we can understand a huge amount about our customer base. I think the competition in the market. Yes, we're all moving at different paces, but Channel 4 have made great strides in their VOD proposition with targeting capabilities, and bearing in mind they don't have subscribers, that it's a registered service. You've got to applaud what they do, and ITV are moving in a slightly different direction with slightly different products. But I think all 3 companies recognise that we need to develop, need to advance, and need to invest, and it's not cheap.
No, I think that's one of the big challenges. Would you have a sense of where we sit versus other geographies? So we have people here from the States.
Yeah.
What do you see as the big differences between the UK and the US, for example?
Well, I think, I'm fortunate, some would say unfortunate enough, no, fortunate enough to spend a fair amount of time in the States in the last few weeks and met a number of the platforms and content owners. And I think, one of the dynamics that's slightly different is that we at Sky are in a different position because we have a platform as well as channels, as well as media partner and third-party relationships. And that gives us a huge amount of flexibility. And I think also we're very fortunate in the UK versus the US in that, we have a great marketing body with Thinkbox who market TV, who try and encourage the TV companies to work collaboratively and share developments. And I think that's always in the back of our minds as we're looking to develop. Whereas it feels, and I'm not an expert, but it feels a little bit more cutthroat, competitive in the US. I think versus Europe, I'd say we're significantly further ahead in terms of advanced advertising. But then there are some companies that are really, some broadcasters and platforms that are really starting to make not just strides to catch up, but you would argue if they continue at this rate, companies like RTL might be overtaking some of the other territories.
Do you think there are scale issues at play? I mean, I'm always struck when the big US cable companies come over here and we'll talk about advanced advertising deployments reaching 40 million households. I mean, that's more households than we have in the UK in total. Do these issues matter when you're trying to develop propositions designed to compete against the likes of Facebook or Google? As a TV business?
As a TV business, well, I think when we speak to advertisers and agencies, ultimately the people that are booking the revenue, paying the bills, yes, ideally you would like to have 100% reach, 100% coverage. But in reality, the fact that with Sky AdSmart you can reach 7 million of our 12 million base, they're generally reasonably comfortable with it. I think one of the key things, and I think Mike will come on to this a little from DataXu, will come on to this a little bit later. It's about understanding the value of each media channel and understanding the value of, an in-feed ad on Facebook versus an immersive 30-second ad on TV, and ensuring that the filter or the lens that we're looking through is driven by the effective advertising outcome and not just the latest technology or indeed the yield arbitrage margin. You'll hear me say that about 25 times today.
So it's not just about scale; it's about other things as well.
It's about one of the things that we've had to do as a result of launching AdSmart is prove out the efficacy of the platform and all of our media, and it kind of the conversation kind of went along the lines of, it's all very well and good you charging us a premium to target or for addressable advertising. But now you need to prove that delivers a good return on investment. So we've built out an analytics capability that means that for any advertiser that has interaction or transaction data, that we can absolutely delineate the AdSmart effect. And so when you can prove out use cases, prove out return on investment, that's when you get the situations where advertisers come back booking second, third, fourth, fifth campaigns or continuous always-on strategies, which some of them are today. So it's not just about scale, it's about efficacy.
And I guess I always think Sky, given your ad sales expertise, is in a really advanced position from that point of view. It really helps.
Yeah, look, I'm very grateful that we have the backing and support of the board of Sky. So not just Sky Media. They have supported us and invested millions of pounds over the last few years to get us to the position we're in. But what drives our unique proposition is the fact that first and foremost we have data at scale. It's not just the fact that we have a 3 million home viewing panel giving us second-by-second viewing across all channels on the Sky platform. It's also that we have, because of our customer dynamic and the customer relationship, we have an understanding of customer journeys across multiple platforms. And that gives us a huge amount of flexibility and a huge amount of opportunity. And for us, it's deciding, what's the right solution, talking to our customers and our agencies and finding out where we should invest next.
Should we just turn and talk a little bit about the reality of competition with the big internet businesses? So we've just had the US upfronts. We've had US execs queuing up to talk about subprime online video. Is that a fair description of what the digital businesses do in video? Is there really clear blue water between broadcast television and digital video, for want of a better word?
Yeah, look, I think there are many different routes to reach the consumer, and consumers will react and interact with commercial propositions or ad formats in different ways. An ad on YouTube is allegedly, according to YouTube, strange that, according to YouTube, in 80% of cases delivers a better return on investment than an ad on TV. Now, quite frankly, that strikes me as utter nonsense. But you're right that broadcasters need to think about how we compete, how we compete, and how we collaborate with the big tech giants. We need to decide at what level do we partner, and at Sky we do partner with both Google and Facebook and Twitter. But at what level are they absolute competition? And when someone uses stats like YouTube have relatively recently, which says 24% of 1634 spend should be shifted from TV to digital or to YouTube, you kind of take a pause and take a deep breath and then think about only a week before. Or not, and to be fair to Google, if they were in the room, they'd say the following week they dispelled this myth and they proved it to be inaccurate. But the study said that 60-odd% of the views to YouTube came from bots. You kind of think if you took that to the extreme, 24% of a £4.5 billion TV market in the UK, so relatively small versus the US, I grant you, but and 60% of that fraud. I asked Vodafone, would they support that? I suspect they probably wouldn't. But we need to make sure that as a TV industry, we can prove out the efficacy of our channels. We can prove out the engagement and interaction levels with our channels, and that we can absolutely decide what content we share and what content we don't share, and we retain control over.
And it seems to me ThinkBox's work on, with the Better Together story, showing that these channels are very complementary, feels like a more sensible way forwards rather than a sort of rather polarising perspective that can alienate, I think, lots of people in the industry.
Yeah.
Watch telly and may use the internet.
Well, look, it would be remiss of me not to admit that Sky, as a relatively large advertiser in the UK, spends a significant amount of money on Facebook and YouTube, but it performs a certain role in the campaign. And we look at media mixes and campaign effectiveness on an ongoing basis to understand what's the right weight and what's the right mix for each campaign. But it's important to say that it will be different for each campaign.
Can you give us, I'm sensitive to time, can you give us some insights into how you see Sky's overarching strategy and ad sales developing over the next few years? Obviously, I mean, barely a month goes by without an announcement of a new partnership, a new product, and it's an incredibly impressive portfolio. What's next? Give us a sense of what's coming over the next 18 to 24 months.
Very conscious that Channel 4 are in the room. So I think there's a couple of things that we are focusing on. You know, we've come to the realisation that at Sky, and some would say, you know, a bit late, but we've come to the realisation that we can't build everything ourselves. So we are constantly looking for new partners that we think can add value to our ad tech stack. We've announced recently partnerships with DataXu, with Videology. We've got a long-standing relationship and deep relationship with FreeWheel. You know, so it's trying to find products or solutions or technologies that can enhance the product. There is no definitive roadmap announcement, but we are sticking to 4 key pillars that we're looking to evolve in. Addressable TV with AdSmart, there is a lot of ambition to grow that product. Sky Advance is only, where are we now? May. So 5 months into sort of the ramp-up phase. And we will be building that out in partnership with DataXu over the coming 6 months. Working heavily with FreeWheel and Videology on our programmatic strategies. But analytics for me is a real opportunity to prove out the return on investment and efficacy of our media inventory. But we're no longer thinking about that as a UK-only proposition. The Sky footprint now is across 5 territories: UK, Ireland, bad if I get this wrong, Italy, Germany and Austria. And I think it'd be fair to say, in fact I know that Jeremy Darroch has stood up on stage and said we have ambitions to grow beyond those territories. And for me it's making sure we have a consistent product set, much in the same way as they do for consumers, to try and ensure that we have that great customer service at the heart of the consumer relationship, at the heart of the advertiser and agency relationship.
And lastly, one other quick question. One of the joys of TV as a medium, I guess, has been that it's offered agencies and advertisers an easy way to buy scale and reach.
Yep.
And some people in the market argue that there's a risk of a more fragmented TV marketplace, particularly when we look at the differences between platforms and broadcasters. Do you see that as a risk?
No, I mean, I absolutely don't. What I think is that, and in fact what I absolutely know, is that with the launch of AdSmart, there are many advertisers who will continue to use TV exactly as they do today. That'll be, whether it be FMCG brands, whether it be mass product launches. TV is famous for making brands famous. You're not going to change that. But why wouldn't you want to add more flexibility, more creativity? Why wouldn't you want to innovate in a platform to make TV more relevant to more brands, to enable us to have richer, deeper formats, deeper integrations and sponsorships and all of those sort of things? So I don't think we'll ever get to a point that we'll move away from brands being able to use TV exactly as they do today. But what I do believe is that we'll add many, many more use cases than we have today, and that is absolutely key when you think back to that very first point or very first question that you asked about Facebook and YouTube, because if we don't, the TV budgets will be cannibalised, taken away, stolen, whatever word I'm looking for, but anyway, one of those, and moving into the pockets of Facebook and YouTube. So we have to adapt to survive and grow our market.